Good morning. Today for breakfast, it's a little something different. I chopped up the chorizo sausage, mixed in some sauerkraut. Then I scrambled 3 eggs and topped it with some cheese. Then mixed it all in, so some cheesy eggs. I was thinking about mixing this all together, but I didn't think that would be good, so I'm gonna eat it separately. Right. So, starting off lunch with a little salad. This is leftover lettuce that I had. It's a little wilted, but I'm going to eat it. Mixed in some Parmesan crisps and salt, and use some of this Primal Kitchen honey mustard salad dressing. Um, as you can see, I'm lazy and I didn't want to chop up anything else. I do have onion, tomato, and celery, but not worth my time. So I'm just going to eat it like this. I've got chicken thighs baking in the oven, reheating in the oven from yesterday. So this is lunch. I got myself some chicken thighs, 4 chicken thighs. These are, I can't talk today. These are the ones that I grilled yesterday. I'm hungry, really hungry. So I'm getting a few laps in today during my break. I'm gonna try to do 5. Starting to warm up finally, which I'm enjoying because it was getting a little too cold. So earlier I got 4 laps in around the block, and now I'm doing at least one more. I thought maybe just one to get 5. I was working on the script to the film project. Actually, well, the script a very tiny bit, but I was mostly working on a shot list. And I finished it. Spent a couple hours with that. I just felt like I needed to stretch also after sitting there for so long. So that's what I'm doing now. Earlier, I was thinking about, I don't know, I was started to make a video, then I deleted it because I really didn't like how it turned out, but I feel like I don't know why, but I concern myself too much of what other people think about diets. It's like, I don't know. What it boils down to is if what you're doing is working for you, then keep doing that. If people don't agree or approve, it doesn't really matter. As long as you're losing weight, that's all that matters. Sorry about my messy hair. So I felt like I really don't want to talk about this too much, but I don't know. It's on my mind. So it's just the whole thing about calories in versus calories out. Um, if the definition of insanity is doing something repeatedly and expecting different results, right? So it's like if you've tried that in the past and it hasn't worked, if you're on it now and it hasn't worked, what makes you think it's going to work in the future? It's like obviously there has to be some other component that you're missing or not doing. And when people think, when they hear low carb or keto, it's they freak out because they think they're going to have to remove one whole type of food out of their eating eating habits or out of their diet. It's like if you're eating vegetables and especially some fruit on keto, you can eat berries. You're getting carbs. You're not completely zero carbs. You're just doing low carb. I feel that the carbs, it's like I don't understand how. I'm not saying that these people are saying that by eating carbs you're eating ultra processed food, but nowadays so many times our food with the carbs in it is ultra processed. It's like even the natural fruits, they've been genetically modified to be sweeter and to last longer. So I mean, even the fruit isn't technically natural. Um, so it's like removing processed sugar, removing these refined grains from your diet. It's like there's no carbohydrate that is essential to your body. Your body can create glucose from protein and fat. So it's like you don't technically have to eat carbohydrates. Like, yes, your body will use glucose as energy primarily if it has that available, but then it can switch over to ketones. um, but I mean, it's it's everyone's own decision, if you want to spend your life counting calories. In my opinion, counting calories isn't like the default way of dieting for me. It's like I know some people also when they hear keto, they think it's a fad diet. It's this type of diet that you deprive yourself of carbs and restrict yourself of carbs and these foods, and then they think eventually you'll fall off and you'll put all the weight back on. But the thing is, that's true about any diet. If you're just counting calories and you stop counting calories, guess what? You're going to put the weight back on. If you do the Mediterranean diet, the grapefruit diet, cabbage soup diet, whatever you do, if you stop eating the way you were, how you were losing weight, and revert back to your old habits, you're going to gain the weight back. So, I mean, in my position, I need to lose a significant amount of weight. It's less now that I've lost some weight, but still it's pretty significant. If a keto way of eating, if like a carnivore way of eating or carnivore, keto, well, did I say carnivore twice? I meant ketovore or carnivore way of eating, help you lose the weight, then use that as a tool to lose the weight. And it doesn't have to, like, strict restriction of carbohydrates or doing carnivore. It doesn't have to be forever. I think if you want to incorporate some higher carb items, I'm not saying ultra processed items, although you can. If you want to incorporate that back into your diet, and if you're able to control the portions you eat of that food, because I know I have a very difficult time doing that when I allow myself to eat that stuff. But I think limiting portions and counting calories when you're at your base weight is probably more ideal than having to lose a significant amount of weight. Um, so I don't know. That's just my opinion. And there's the video I posted recently on my community tab. I forget the doctor's name, but he goes into it a lot more about controlling your glucose levels and how the body can expel any excess calories that it has. It's like there's so many different systems in our body. It's not logical to me to think you can simply count calories, like calories in versus calories out. Like it seems too simple to me. It's like you have to consider how your body reacts to these calories and the fact that it can expel calories if it doesn't need calories. So it doesn't all turn to fat. But anyway, I just have to let bygones be bygones and do what's working for me. So, what else was I going to talk about? I don't know. Someone else was going to talk about. Let me think about it. I remember what I was going to say now. I think intermittent fasting has just given me more clarity on a few things because when I'm not eating, I feel like I eat I don't know if it's out of boredom, I guess. But it's like if I don't occupy my mind with something, I just want to gravitate toward food. It's like I need to do something that's like this, what do you call it? Maybe obsessive, compulsive thing where you just have to have something in your mouth and eating and tasting food. So I feel like during this time of fasting, it's like if I don't keep myself occupied doing something, like earlier I was working on the shot list and I wasn't thinking about food. I am, a little hungry, but I wasn't thinking about food. I wasn't thinking about going to the fridge to look for food. Then when I finished working on the shot list, that's when I just suddenly became, okay, what am I going to do now? Now I just go to the fridge and look for food. Um, And I just think that's a habit that I have to break. Um, yeah, I don't know if it's really like, I don't know if the habit is going to the fridge. It's just like the habit of keeping your mind busy. It's like you have to figure out how to keep yourself busy or occupied and not have it revolve around food all the time or something. So I just think, I don't know. I think intermittent fasting, doing low carb also, as I will say, it's turned the food noise down. Like I feel that I'm not always thinking about food. However, when the hunger pangs come, of course, then it gets amplified again. But but like separate from the food noise, I feel that there's a large part of me just like going to the fridge and wanting to eat out of habit also. Because like I think of eating something and the only thing I would probably eat is cheese. So it's like I'm not really hungry, it's just I want something that tastes good. Like the idea of eating a piece of salmon with broccoli doesn't really sound appetizing. So that's how I tell myself, I'm not actually hungry. I'm just wanting to taste something good. Um, so that's one good thing about intermittent fasting is like when you restrict yourself just to a certain time frame, I think you're more aware of those thoughts and you don't give in to those thoughts because you're fasting. Um, so that's, I don't know, just a little something interesting about intermittent fasting. Anyways, I'm gonna start working on. Well, I say work, but it's not really work. I'm gonna start watching the Universal classic monster movies in preparation for Epic Universe. So tonight I'm going to watch Wolfman. I think it came out in 1941. I'm gonna check that out. I've watched a few last year sometime. I watched Dracula, Frankenstein. I think that was about it. I guess I just watched those two. But yeah, I'll watch Wolfman tonight and see how that is. Hopefully this isn't copyright. The Wolfman.